I just manifested my dream house, and I'm about to tell you how I did it whilst being a single parent. I'm not rich. I'm just a regular single mom, and I have been implementing the law of attraction for the past 8 years. And what has come from that has been absolutely life changing. And I just manifested my dream home. Note, I'm renting this house. I did not buy it. My next step is to manifest rent to buy. But I don't know if I actually want to own a home. I'm not sure. Let's just see what comes about. But I did it. It was the last missing piece in my life. I'm a single parent. I've been living with my parents whilst I get my life back on track. I left a DV relationship when my daughter was only I can't remember now. She was either 2 or 4 months old. And I had to start my life from absolute scratch. Okay. So I'm Tara and I teach manifestation. If you want to work with me, please go to my website. The link is below. So let's get into it. I'm going to teach you exactly how to manifest your dream house. Note that the owners of this house asked me how much rent I would like to pay. The owners do not know me in any kind of way. They do not know my family. They do not know my friends. They are complete, utter strangers, okay? Because you would probably think, oh, well, it's like a family friend or a friend or a friend. No. They do not know me from a bar of soap. They have never met my family. They've never met any, complete strangers. And they asked me how much rent I can afford to pay. So basically, I had to start my life from scratch, as I said. I had no clue who I was. I didn't know my likes from my dislikes. I didn't know my hobbies. I had nothing to go off. My whole world shattered. I moved in with my parents to try and just figure out what to do with my life and how I'm going to provide for my daughter. And it's been a long journey, ebbs and flows, leaps of faith, risks, and it's all paid off. It's self-investment. I invested money I did not have in books, online courses. I just followed my gut. I followed the breadcrumbs. I was reading books and online courses that were just out of interest. I didn't know if this was ever going to lead to anything. And I wondered throughout that whole process if all of this was going to amount to anything. Because I was just doing it because it was my interest. I started learning how to develop my psychic senses, learned to be psychic, started doing tarot readings. But it all stemmed from a place of curiosity, not from a place of, I'm going to make this my work. I was just discovering who I was. And so I moved back home after my breakup, and it felt like the world was against me. It took a very long time for life to feel like it was coming back together. So if you're kind of going through the same thing, keep pursuing, keep pushing through, because I finally made it. I finally made it, and I finally understand the law of attraction. I finally now understand black and white what you need to do to get to where you need to be. And life can change in an instant. It didn't for me because it's taken me such a long time to integrate law of attraction, really fully understand it, that everything has been a really slow progress. But at the same time, I had this knowing that everything would fall into my lap. I have this knowing that I don't have to do anything, because law of attraction is all these timelines exist. And you can just jump into one timeline where you have the house, the relationship, the money, that it's all your thought processes. It's what you prime your mind that you start aligning to that life. And so I've literally just waited for everything to fall into my lap. And it has. Yes, there's been aligned action, but the aligned action hasn't been anything. Well, some things have been drastic. I literally took a leap of faith to leave my job to start my business. There are leaps of faith that you have to take. There are risks, but for growth, but all the physical things have landed in my lap. And so And spirit will like guidance will come through friends and through conversations. And that's what happened with this house. And so you have to train your mind. You have to create discipline with your thoughts because your emotions, your thoughts is what creates your reality. And the more safety you can bring into your body, the better. But I mean, I have been so dysregulated this whole time. I have been crying. Before I got this house, I was crying all the time. I was felt like, you know what? I'm never going to get out of my predicament. Whilst I lived with my parents, they gave me that safety net to rebuild my life from scratch. I understand that a lot of people don't have that. You kind of have to play with what you have. But at the same time, you just have to align your thoughts. And living with my family, we don't live in a big house, okay? We're basically living on top of each other. And so my daughter and I, we really just needed our own space, like really, really. And I just felt like I was never going to get out of my predicament. Like I'm 35. It's like I should have my life together by now. But honestly, life never works out the way that you think it's going to. Life will crack you open at one point and you will have to start your life all over again, learning your life lessons. And so I felt like I was never going to get out of my predicament. I'd been living at home for so long, rebuilding my life that I'm like, am I ever? Because in this economy, like renting a house, especially where I live, there is a rental shortage. And unless I want to live in it, and there's nothing wrong with this, you got to do what you got to do. But unless I want to live in a commission home, that's all I could literally afford. I had a specific town. I live in a rural area. And so I had a specific town that I wanted to live. I've been manifesting living in this town for 2 years now. I did it. I manifested it. But yeah, I just felt like, how am I ever going to afford a rental? Like, I'm just not going to be able to afford one. Like, I don't understand how I'm ever going to get out of my predicament. Meanwhile, all my friends around me have the white picket fence. They have the family. They have the kids. They have the partner. I'm the only person in my friendship group whose life has really just fallen apart and I've had to pick up all the pieces. I'm the only single person. So, there was like a hint of jealousy with my friends. Whilst I'm so happy for them, I would never, be like a hatred jealous. But when you see what someone else has all around you, and you kind of see like what you've got, it's hard not to be jealous, but it only inspired me as well. I look at people and I look at what they have and I look at, well, it only shows me what it is that I want in life. And so you can imagine how hard that is emotionally to see everyone around you have it all really. And of course, people, not everyone's living their perfect life. Of course, it's not always what it seems on the outside. But when like you're the only one, a single parent, no partner, living it back home with your parents, it's not great. And so I'm learning about the law of attraction. I had created so much evidence prior to getting this house that I knew law of attraction works. There are days where I felt like I'm listening to a bunch of phonies and it's not real. The only thing that made me really think that this is real is knowing that Dr. Joe Dispenza is a neuroscientist. And if he believes it, well, I have good faith that it's true. So I had countless days of that. Whilst, mind you, still manifesting so much. I've manifested that's another episode. But I've created a lot of evidence. The last missing piece was this house. Like, I don't care about a partner. I just that is my next manifestation. But leading up to this point, I just wanted my own house. I didn't care about having a relationship. I just wanted to become financially stable and just have our own house. Anyway, it starts from meeting this woman 2 years ago. I met a new friend, and that's a whole thing in itself. We were at a local pool and my daughter had a birthday party. And mind you, I had just left my job like 3 weeks earlier. I took the leap of faith, left my job to go all in on my business when I had no foundation of clients. That's the thing. Your heart will always tell you to do the most illogical thing. So that was, not logical to leave a job without a foundation of clients. Anyway, but if I hadn't have left my job at that time, I would not have met this woman. I'm sure the universe would have realigned it somehow. But so 3 weeks ago, I left my job. My daughter had a pool party, and I would not have been able to have taken her to this party because I would have worked. Like, I worked on the weekends. And so I was able to take her. Party ended, and she said, "Do you mind if we stay longer?" And I was like, "Why not? We've got nothing else on. Like, let's just stay longer." Pool's empty, mind you. I think, no, there was like 2 other people at the pool. So it's basically the yard is empty. This woman comes and sits by my towel. Like, her towel is practically, I think it actually was overlapping my towel. I'm thinking, dude, like, you've got this whole yard to sit down at, and she decides to sit at my towel. And I recognized her. She was a parent from my daughter's school, but I've never spoken to her. And I also kind of sparked up a conversation, kind of had to. And turns out I was I wanted to start doing like manifestation coaching, and I do massage by trade. And it turns out she is a manifestation coach who helps other coaches build their business through like funnels and Facebook ads and whatnot. And so we just hit it off. So our daughters end up becoming friends. Because we became friends, our daughters became friends. And I would go over to her house, and there's this one particular house directly opposite her that is just my dream house. It's this old wooden cottage. It is beautiful. Like, it's just incredible. And it's very like magical. That's the only way I can describe this house. Like, its yard, it's magical. And in my manifestations, like when I'm doing my journaling of the characteristics, I can't say that word, characteristics of the house that I want it to be whimsy, magical, fairy-like, that it's really safe. Like, I feel safe. And then it's old. It's got so much character. Like, I hate modern homes. I cannot stand modern homes. So I love old, like old farmhouse old. And it's everything that. And I would dote on this house every time I would go over. And eventually, like 2 years, so like last year, this is where spirit speaks through people. She says, why? Because no one lived here either. She would say, I have lived here for a few years and I have only ever seen the owners once or twice. There are no renters, no Airbnb, nobody lives here. And like, that just baffles me. How can you pay for a house and not have anyone be paying it off if you don't live here? And she said, why don't you write them a letter asking if they'd be willing to rent out their house? And I kind of rejected that thought. The amount of times I have rejected things throughout my life when it was the guidance, like it was like the opening I needed to move forward in life. It's like this seed needs to be planted, and then I need to mull it over, and then I will accept it. And so I mulled it over for months. Like, it was the end of the year. I'm pretty sure it was November last year. We're in June now. So yeah, like November last year, I finally decide to write a letter, and I stick it in the flywire door. And I just said, basically, like, even if you don't want to rent it out, like, please let me know. And I left my number. Didn't hear from them. So I'm like, that's a bit crappy. So didn't hear from them. Fast forward to April this year, last minute, that morning, I asked if my friend could pick up my daughter from school. So like at first she couldn't, like the night before I was trying to organize it and she couldn't. And then that morning she messaged me saying, I actually can now. So I was like, great. So I went over to pick my daughter up, and the owners are in the garden. And I was like, oh my God, the owners are there. She's like, go over and talk to them. I was like, no, I can't. I left them a letter and they didn't like respond to the letter. I'm not going to like bombard myself upon them and be like, why didn't, did you get my letter? And she's like, no, go do it. And I knew this was like my only chance. I've never seen them before. For 2 years of knowing this friend, I've never seen the owners here. So I knew this was my only chance to speak to them. And so they're over in the garden. And so I walk over courageously and I was like, hi, like I introduced myself and I said, I kindly said, like, did you guys receive a letter that I wrote you? And they're like, no, we never got a letter. And they just said, we would never not respond. I was like, oh, okay, that's strange. And I said to her, my car, it was in a green envelope. And she goes, hold on, because she was doing the gardening. She goes, I think I saw something over here. And she goes over, she picks up my letter. Hold on, I got to show you. She picks this up. All the slugs had got into it. And she goes, is this it? I was like, that's my letter. And she goes, I'm so sorry. We would never have not responded to you. And so I said, like, would you be willing to rent this house out? And she goes, we're actually selling it. Like, we're doing it all up to sell it. It's like, oh no. So I just said, look, for whatever crazy reason, if you don't end up selling the house, can I leave you my number if you would ever want to rent it out? And she's like, well, it's crazy that you say that because I actually don't want to sell this house. Like, it's not for financial reasons. It's just that it's so much upkeep because we only come like once or twice a year or however many times they said. It's so much upkeep. And they haven't fully retired yet. Like, they're still working. I think they're in like their late 50s, early 60s. And she goes, let me talk to my husband. And I'm just like, what? Like, this is like, I can't, like, this is my dream house. I'm obsessed with this house. I cannot believe this is even happening. And she goes, walk through the house, go see it. I was like, oh my God. And I was expecting, like, this house looks tiny. It looks like it's a 1-bedroom. And I walk through and it's huge. Not huge, like it's still small, which I love small houses. I always wanted a house where I didn't have to yell at one end of the house to get my daughter's attention. And it's just cozy. It is cute, cozy, everything. And I was mind blown. It was just an extend because they've put like an extension on the back, but you don't realize that it's an extension because it's the same wood, it's the same color. So it's actually like so much bigger than what I thought. And mind you, my lease, I had like a business space and I gave up, like the lease ended. So I'm also trying to find a place to lease from. Ideally, I was also trying to manifest a house that I could work from home. But in the end, I kind of just gave up thinking that I could never afford a house big enough to work from home in. Like, I'm only going to be able to afford like a granny flat, basically, like a 2-bedroom house. So I'm also manifesting a business space to work from. So I'm just doing mobile massage at this stage. And so yeah, I walk through and met the husband. The husband's there. He's doing like the painting and stuff. And he was just lovely. And yeah, so she said that she's going to talk to her husband. And so I go back over to my friend's house and then I'm in the yard. We're in the yard. And 5 minutes later, she waves me back over. I was like, oh my God, she's waving me. Like, I couldn't even like get my legs to like walk. Because I had to like tell myself, Tara, walk. And so I met her back over. She goes to me, how much can you afford? Because remember, she said that she wasn't selling the house. It's not about financials for her. And she goes to me, how much can you afford? And as I said, like, commission housing is basically my budget. Like, I'm at the bottom of the barrel. Like, it's probably so offensive to tell her how much I can afford for this house. Like, so offensive. And I just said to her, like, I literally said, I'm actually quite like scared to tell you, but this is what I can afford. And she goes, okay, did not flinch, did like nothing. She goes, okay, I'm going to have a serious discussion with my husband tonight and we'll get back to you. Like, I'm getting shivers as I'm saying this. And like in this quick 5-minute chat, I told her that, it's just my daughter and I, and, I've started a business. I do like massage. So I'm also looking for a place to work from, da, da, da. And I don't even know why I even mentioned that. It was just, again, just channeling what I said. It's just, it made no sense to even bring that up, but it will. Anyway, she calls me the next morning at 8:30 a.m. and she goes, I need you to come over right now because we are signing the paperwork this afternoon to put the house on the market. We're signing all the paperwork for the real estate agency. So I need to know this morning what I'm doing, if I'm renting the house to you, if I'm selling it. Like, I need you to come and see, get this, if the house is right for you, not if it's right for them. See if the house is right for me. So I go over. They're so lovely. And so we're walking through the house and they show me a studio on the property. I had no idea it was even there because it's kind of hidden behind bushes. Like, this property is actually so much bigger than what I thought. There is a studio. And she goes to me, because when you rent from people's homes, you need their permission to work from their house, to have people over. And she just goes to me, you could use this as your business studio. It even has a bathroom. I can't believe, like, it is wild. I am still just trying to just accept it. There is a bathroom in there as well. Just big enough for me to be able to do my massages, and it's beautiful. And like, I got rejected from so many houses because my financials, so I'm just making sure my mic is on. My financials, yeah, I was just up against like 2 household incomes, and I was like just getting by basically. And then get this. She goes to me, like, my daughter has chickens, and again, you need the owner's permission to have animals on the property. And lo and behold, there is a fenced off area, what looked like might have been like a dog run, because there's like a dog kennel attached to like this back shed. She goes, I don't know if you have chickens, but you could keep them in here if you ever decide to get chickens. What? Just, I felt like these people are my angels. Like, I felt like these people aren't human. I felt like they are my angels. It's just, how could they possibly know that? It, and then she goes to me, she goes, I want to let you know that, because I also had like these worries, like these fears over my head. Like, when you're living the security of your parents' house and you're not financially stable enough, you have these worries of rent going up every year. They're going to sell the house on you. Those were my 2 biggest worries. All right. She goes to me, I want to let you know that if you decide to take this house, we will never raise the rent on you, because it's not about money for us. Like, we have other properties, but like, we will never raise the rent on you. And then she goes, you can stay here for as long as you want. If you want to like sign a 5-year contract, whatever, know that we will never sell this house on you. She goes, we love this house. We will eventually retire in it, but we will never sell the house on you. And then she goes, don't worry about paying a bond. You don't need to pay a bond. I mean, if you legally have to through the real estate, then so be it, which, yeah, I had to legally do it. Not knowing me from a bar of soap, did not know my family, not my friends, never met me before. And they have like this unwavering faith in me, telling me to not even worry about a bond. And then they say, if anything happens with the house, that something needs to be fixed or whatever, don't bother going through the real estate agent. Just contact us directly and we will get it done. Now, there ended up being a leak in the bathroom and I contacted them on it, straight on it. It gets better. They said that they would leave me their fridge, like literally everything. I could just leave. It could just be like, I was hoping I could find a home fully furnished. I was also manifesting that because whilst I'm like, looking for a house to rent, I'd be living by the skin of my teeth with money wise, because by the time I buy all the utensils, plates, pots and pans, oh my God. No, they left me their fridge, a huge fridge, mind you. They left me their all their plates, bowls, cutlery, pots, pans, washing machine, dryer. They left me everything. And guess what this house comes with? A state-of-the-art Smeg oven. Like this 3-door one. I don't even know how it works. There's so many compartments to this bloody oven. Just mind blown. So, let me tell you how I manifested this house. Okay? All the priming leading up to it. As I said, your mind needs to be so disciplined. I really started honing in and understanding law of attraction is all about your thoughts and your emotions. So every night, even in all my fear and doubt and thinking that I was never going to get out of this predicament, I was not letting up on those. I was not letting my thoughts get away from me like that. I would just, every time I had a negative thought, a fear or a doubt, I would state the opposite. No, I have the house of my dreams. I have the house of my dreams. Even if I didn't believe it. Okay, there is a lot of the time, actually the whole time I wasn't even believing what I was telling myself. Because it's I'm a single parent. I've just started a business. I'm not financially okay. And the next thing, the next level is manifesting a relationship and money. And somehow I get by my life. Somehow, I had $2 in my bank account early last year, and my next episode, I manifested $8,000 last week, not having to do anything. Did not have to work, literally nothing. I manifested $8,000. Somehow, it always works out. So that's going to be my next video, okay? Is how I manifested $8,000. But you have to counteract your negative thoughts, because you manifest what you think, and it will just manifest in any type of way, any shape or form, through people, situations, whatever, right? So you never know how it's going to manifest. And so I just kept saying, I have the house of my dreams. I have the house of my dreams. I made subliminals. I was doing EFT tapping, and I was just saying robotic affirmations throughout the day. And when I would go to, and throughout the day, and as I'm going to sleep, I would open up my heart space. In whatever way you can need to open up your heart space, do it. If it's thinking about your kids, if it's thinking about a past memory that just opens your heart. If you think about anything, even if it is the desire that opens your heart. It doesn't matter what it is. Because when your heart is open, your aura expands. And when your heart is open, that's when you attract the most beautiful things in life, because love conquers fear. Love conquers doubt. So that's why you say, whenever in fear and doubt, you just state the opposite, because coming from light and love conquers what you've just thought about in regards to fear and doubt. So I want you to start making robotic affirmations. I have the house of my dreams. I have the house of my dreams. I wrote, sometimes I would write things and I would never really go read it back, but it's just kind of a way to cement it. And I think there's something in the Bible that I'm not religious, but things in the Bible are starting to make sense when people come out and say it. It's more like symbolism, but there's something about writing it. It's cementing it to the universe. And so write down the characteristics of the person, the house, whatever it is that you want. Okay. So mine was, my house is it. I feel so safe. And having my friend directly across the road, like she's a single mom as well. And even though she's a single mom, there's something, I just feel safe knowing that she's there. So my daughter now has a friend directly 2 steps across the road. She also has a friend round the corner that she can ride her scooter to. It's just the best. So I literally said in my journaling, like I actually said this, that my daughter has friends that she can play with and pop over like after school. And so I said that. I said that it's magical. It's like I'm obsessed with fairies and all of that. It's fairy like. Now, mind you, because like I like dark and gloomy. Like I love winter. Okay, that's my favorite season. I thrive in winter. I love like gloomy, foggy, dark weather. My family call me a vampire because I don't like the sun. Got fair skin. I burn. I just don't like the sun. And so there are like these huge pine trees. Like I'm like on the borderline of a forest. Like you go for a walk and you can see the forest like right there. It's amazing. Like you can go through walks in the forest, like literally like at the end of my street. Like it's beautiful. Um, and so there's these beautiful pine trees, and it blocks out a lot of the sun. So the sun doesn't really get on the grass. So the grass doesn't grow, which means it creates a lot of moss. So I have like whilst there is grass, a lot of it's moss. And it is so magical. It is so fairy like. My daughter and I have created like a fairy garden out there. It is just like there are fairies out there. 100%. I just love it. I also said that it's old. I wanted like that thing, like halfway up the wall, like whatever that's called. I wanted that. I wanted old wooden floors. These floors are so old. This house is over 100 years old. It's over 100 years old. Like there is like a step down into the kitchen. Like you can see like where the extension is, and like the step is like worn down. Like that's how old this house is. What else did I say? That it's cozy, that it's small. Like I love small homes. As I said, I don't like big, large homes. I'm having to shout one end of the house. This house is perfect. It is so perfect. Um, it is everything and more than what I wrote down. So write down the characteristics and the values of what you're manifesting. Like the values as in like, say if you're manifesting a partner, write down the values of what they hold, right? Then with that in place, those are then your affirmations. So then I would just robotically affirm, even if I didn't believe it. I told you I lived in so much dysregulation, fear, and doubt, but I just persisted. Okay. It felt like such like a long road ahead, and you just have to do it messy. You have to do it regardless of how you're feeling. And that's what I did. And I got it. Like I'm living proof that it works. And so you want to robotically say your affirmations. When I say robotically, throughout the day, that's all you're affirming throughout the day. When you catch yourself adrift in thoughts of like negative people, remembering like a past situation that was terrible, bring your thoughts back in and robotically affirm, I have the house of my dreams. I feel so safe. It is fairy like. It is magical. I have the house of my dreams. That's what I just kept saying. I then created myself subliminals. Now, if you want, I can create you personalized subliminals. Just email me. The link is below, and we can like just interact via email. But subliminals. So when you say affirmations, your ego, like your conscious mind, will fight you on your say. Like, well, that's not possible. How can you think that you can get that? Da 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 da. So subliminals are affirmations layered behind music. So you can't hear the affirmation, you can only hear the music, but it bypasses the conscious mind where the ego lives, directly straight to your subconscious, which is where all your beliefs lie, because you want to create new neural pathways of beliefs. Your subconscious is where all your beliefs stem from. And by priming your mind, by stating your affirmations, that is how you quite literally create new beliefs. So that subliminals go straight into the subconscious. So I would listen to subliminals while walking, drifting off to sleep. Not that I do it, but you if you can do it, play them whilst you're getting ready, whilst you're cooking. Basically, play them as often as possible. So I made subliminals. And EFT tapping. So EFT tapping has so many benefits. You can use it for trauma, emotional release, healing, and manifestations. And so what it is, you're tapping on certain meridian points in the body that signals safety to the body. So as you tap on these points, what you're doing is you're not bringing toxic positivity into your life. I like to do 2 rounds of stating exactly how I feel. That life, I just feel like the universe is against me. I don't feel like I can afford a house. I want to be able to, work from home, but I don't think I can afford a house big enough for that, because that's healing. Like, you need to release what you actually feel within yourself. Like, that needs somewhere to go, because otherwise you're suppressing that and it just gets stuck in the body, and then that manifests in so many ways, and even to physical aches and pains, illnesses and diseases eventually. So I like, using this method because you state exactly how you feel to get it out of your system. And then I like to do 1 to 2 rounds of choosing a new belief. So I now choose to believe that it is possible. I now choose to believe that I do have my dream home. I now choose to believe that life can be different, and so on and so forth. Okay. So each point you're stating a new affirmation. But sometimes I just say, I choose to believe that I'm okay. I choose to believe that life can be different. So yeah, just do that. And then I like to do 2 rounds of each. And then the last rounds, I just say it as if it's already happened. I now have the house of my dreams. I am now so financially abundant. I now have, like, whatever, like, you just keep saying that. And I do that for another 2 rounds. So 2 rounds of each. And that signals safety in the body. The more regulated you are, the more you're going to be able to manifest from ease. But as I said, I was completely dysregulated and I still did it. Definitely my life has taken a long time to get to where I am today. But that's also because I procrastinate for 2 years on things. I procrastinated for 2 years leaving my job. And if I had just done that there and then, I would have been so much further along in life. But yeah, it is what it is. So it really depends on you how fast you manifest life. Because really, you just think yourself into a new timeline. You think yourself into it. You don't have to do anything. So, another thing I did too, which is like my last point, is, and I saw like another video on this, and it's something that I already knew within myself. It was like this knowing, but sometimes it's like I kind of have to hear from other people to know that actually it is true. And I had this knowing that, well, like, because they talk about law of attraction. Well, and this is like what used to confuse me, is think as if it's already done. Think as if you already have the house. So it's like, well, if I already had the house, I wouldn't be going on realestate.com, like all the depending where you're in the world. I wouldn't be going on the apps to find like rental properties. Because if it's already done, then why would I do that? And so I really struggled to let go of that, to not be looking on realestate.com, because how else is a house going to find me? How else am I going to find a house if I don't go on these websites? And maybe it does come through that for you. But I said to myself, well, if it's already done, if I already have the house, what would I be doing? I'm like, well, I wouldn't be stressing. I wouldn't be worrying as much as I am. I'd be doing my crafts. And so I after watching this video of cementing what I already knew, I said, I'm going to do this. For a whole week, I'm going to completely let go of my worries, because if I had a house, I wouldn't be worrying and I would just be doing crafts. And so, and all of this happened within, I can't remember now if it was 24 or 48 hours, like within 2 days it happened. So I sat at home and I just did crafts. I did like a little diamante painting, and I just did that. Yeah, 1 to 2 days later, I met the owners. Yeah. So, and everything else has fallen into my lap. I've had mentors fall into my lap. When I got my job, like the job that I left, how I manifested that fell into my lap. I did not have to open my laptop to create a resume. Like I think I've made a video on that, but I'll make another one. But nothing since I have started using law of attraction has come in the traditional route. Not a single thing. And I now know, having manifested 8 grand, which I will talk about in my next video, having manifested this house, having manifested the job, having manifested mentors, I know that they can fall into your lap. There's aligned action by signing up to the course, by writing the letter that I did. Spirit spoke through my friend to tell me to write that letter. But in the end, I don't know if that letter, maybe it had nothing to do with it. I'm not sure, because in the end, I ended up meeting them in the garden. But, I feel like it still had something to do with it. But all I had to do was write that letter. I had to go over there and meet them. But it was all aligned action. It wasn't anything out of my own way. I didn't have to. And there was one time where I did go out of my way to look for a mentor when I was going through my court proceedings with an absolute narcissist. Everyone knows narcissists do not let up. They do not give up. I manifested him doing what he did and not getting my way. I always said, like, whatever is good for my daughter, allow that to happen. And it did. But yeah, everything that has come into my life, I was talking about the mentor. There was one point when I was going through my court proceedings and it was horrifying. It drained the life out of me. I couldn't go work. I couldn't do anything. And I went out of my way to look for a mentor. And I found one. And she was good. She did help me. I kind of just needed that safety person in my life to just kind of get me through. And but she wasn't what I needed on a soul level. She wasn't fulfilling. It was just kind of like surface level. And I knew that because I had gone out of my way to find her, she did not fall into my lap. I forced her into my life, and she wasn't what I needed on a deep soul level. Every other mentor, every course, every book that has landed in my lap has been so soul fulfilling. It's been so, I'm a very deep person, and they have been deep. How I manifested my online course, my skill set for my work, has all fallen into my lap. So know that life can completely turn around for you. Life doesn't have to be this way. I used to think, well, this is life. This is just how it is, and there's nothing you can do about it. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. And now I'm manifesting my glow up. Now I'm manifesting that next stage in life. I got my financials have been ebbs and flows, but I'm living my dream life. I'm doing it. Now it's time to manifest me a man and my glow up. So that's what I'm focusing on now. And now that's going to be so much easier to focus on because I'm not in survival mode anymore. My business is picking up, and it's just, yeah. You have to block out the noise, block out the people that are speaking to you from trauma. You have to block it all out, and you just have to hone in and have narrow vision on what it is that you want to call in. You just got to come from love and light. Just robotically affirm what it is that you want, and you have to ignore the 3D. You have to, so that's the thing, you have to wait for life to catch up to what you're saying, because it's going to look like nothing's changing, that nothing's working. And it may feel like that for a while. But your words, your thoughts are words that, even if it's like an inner dialogue, they are spells you cast out to the universe. The words you speak out loud and in your mind are spells you cast to the universe. And you have to wait for those spells to catch up in your reality. So just keep doing it. Just keep pursuing, even if it feels like life is still against you, because I've been there. It felt like nothing was working. If anything, it was getting worse. But that's the time that you need to resist and ignore what you're currently experiencing. Okay? You've got this. Watch my next video on how to manifest 8 grand.